motherfucking hands up.
What's going on YouTube? It's Paradox here with another video, and I want to talk to you about PlayStation Now. It's kind of been the hot button issue of the past day or so, actually. I guess an NDA lifted or something, and so Kotaku and IGN have really started talking about it. There's been some backlash, and there's been some interesting things that have come out of this. So I'm primarily going to talk about the two Kotaku articles that have been put up within the past 2 days, because I've had a little bit of experience with the PlayStation Now beta. A friend of mine has it. He bought his PS4 over. We tried it out, and I have some things that I kind of want to add to this conversation, and I want to know what you guys think of this service so far. So first, I need to point out, and I hate doing stuff like this, but there's one thing that Kotaku said in one of their articles. They said that you have to have a wired internet connection in order to play PlayStation Now. That is completely false. I have to point that out, guys. Wi-Fi does work. However, it is recommended, it is highly recommended that you use a wired connection. So I want to clear up that confusion there for anyone who was looking into this service and thinking that, oh, I can't have a wired connection, so it's pretty pointless to me. You can use Wi-Fi, once again, if you have a stable connection, if your connection is good enough. Now, before I really get into the heart of what I really want to say, I need to let you guys know the kind of internet that I'm working with, because that does kind of give me a more favorable experience, I think. I've only used Wi-Fi with PlayStation Now, and I have around 30 download speed. Okay, 30 down, 20 up. That's what I'm working with. I want that to be out there because that does kind of skew the way that I look at this service and my experience with the service. Granted, it has only been for a small amount of time. I am not in the beta myself. However, I want to get this information out, and I want to speak on this issue. So the first thing that I want to say is that I have had no lag with PlayStation Now. A lot of people, especially IGN, especially Kotaku in particular, have noted that they have had a fair amount of lag with the service when running on both wired and Wi-Fi connections, and I have not really experienced that. Every time that my friend and I used the service, it was working flawlessly, and I really do appreciate that. However, I do realize that, and it's kind of weird how they would have connection issues, and I have not personally had connection issues. Apparently, it's going to happen. I mean, this is streaming, and it's still in beta, and they need to work out a few kinks, but that's something that I do want to say. But I do find it weird that these corporations or these companies have had problems with it that have not affected me, really. But a big thing that's going on right now is talking about the pricing, and that's what I really want to talk about right now. That's kind of the heart of what I want to really get at here, is that really Kotaku saying, and IGN is also saying, that kind of these prices are pretty ludicrous, and the fact that you have to pay in the beta for one is not a very good idea. Now, personally, I agree. The beta apparently was free before, up until, I guess, yesterday or the day before yesterday. So they really pushed in the first little pricing types here. So the first thing was Final Fantasy 13-2. You get a couple different pricing options: 4 hours, 7 days, 30 days, and 90 days. The lowest of these will cost you $5. So $5 for 4 hours, and on the higher end, 90 days, $30. Now, the thing with that is, it's kind of weird because they pointed out you can buy Final Fantasy 13-2 on PS3 for $17 from Amazon. So I think that's kind of the thing that you have to do. You have to work with a sliding scale on a game-by-game basis to see where these prices have to be at. And I think on the lower end of the spectrum, $5 for 4 hours, that's a bit ludicrous, actually. I think maybe $2 would work well under that, but I think $5 for 4 hours for a game that came out in 2012 isn't really the best way to go if you want more people to use this service, right? So the next thing is, we still haven't heard about games that we already own, so we're waiting to hear on that. Actually, I do want to point that out. We're also waiting to see if there's going to be some sort of buy option. From what I know, there's not going to be a buy option, but just throwing that out there. Another thing was Guacamelee. On the highest end, Guacamelee was $15, I want to say, I cannot pull it up right now, but Guacamelee is supposed to be around 15. Yes, I have it up now. So on the lowest end, Guacamelee, 4 hours for $3 and 90 days for $15. Now, you could buy Guacamelee for $15, right? You, instead of just renting it for 90 days, you could flat out buy it. Not to mention Guacamelee is coming to the PS4 very soon. That's kind of a, that's not very good, especially when this is about to go into open beta. So, actually, I think that's like the hardest thing that you really have to hit here is that, you know, you have some of these downloadable titles, which will be $15, $10, $20 max, but you're charging that for a 90-day rental. These have to be, the pricing has to work on a scale, and obviously I don't know how these numbers are coming about. I don't know if there's some sort of working with Drinkbox or, you know, Square Enix, if it's judged by Sony or if it's judged by the publisher, but they really need to work together to offer the best possible experience for the user. I think at most charging $5 to rent Guacamelee, maybe 10 at most, 5 or 10 for that 90-day rental would probably be the better area to lie, because this is a $15 game, right? Now, over time, I would love to see how these slides. So after a year, when will that price go down? Will it be after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year, after 2 years? How these prices will fluctuate, how they will go up, how they will go down. Hopefully they don't really go up, but you know what I mean. So as a game gets older, I want to see what kind of scale they're working with, and this is the first implementation of price in PlayStation Now that we have seen, which is very interesting, because apparently they are working constantly on new and different pricing options. So I can't wait to see what pricing options we will get in the future. Now, an interesting thing that I really do need to bring up, and I really wanted to note, was that Dead Island Riptide was available on PlayStation Now. It was running at 720p on PS3. However, it was upscaled through PlayStation Now to be 1080p. I thought that was very interesting. That might be a big draw for some people. I don't know if it only works with Dead Island Riptide. I don't know if other games are using this, but I think that's actually pretty interesting, and I think maybe that's something we may see more of in the future. Upscaling through the cloud, kind of what Microsoft has been trying to do with their whole Power of the Cloud initiative and everything going on. So, all in all, from my experience with PlayStation Now, it's worked flawlessly. You are recommended, highly recommended, I have to say again, to have a wired internet connection. However, from my experience with my connection, Wi-Fi has worked fine. I have only tried it for about 2 days or so with a friend who came over. I do not own the beta. I am not in it any way, shape, or form. I am not affiliated with Sony. I'm not affiliated with PlayStation. I'm just giving my opinions, my thoughts, and everything on the small amount of experience that I have had with PlayStation Now. I have not noticed any lag. Everything's worked fine for me, but I do need to point out that this pricing needs to be fixed. We need to hear about a subscription model. We need to hear about games that we already own if there's going to be any incentive. We need to hear some more about these things, and obviously we all need to pay attention to how this goes. This can be either a big step forward or a big step back for all of us as gamers. And as all the streaming stuff is really starting to hit home, we really need to talk about it as a community, right? So everybody look at PlayStation Now. I'm going to link both the Kotaku articles down in the description, and I want you in the comment section, let's talk. Tell me what you think about this pricing model. Are you interested in PlayStation Now? Are you not interested in PlayStation Now? And why not? Because right now we're only seeing PS3 games. The idea for this is to open up the entire PlayStation library for in-home, or not technically in-home, but through streaming, right? So once again, tell me what you guys think down in the comment section. I've given you my thoughts, my opinions from the small amount of time I have had with this beta that I do not actually own. So I really just want to know what you guys think. Are you guys interested? And what do you think would be some better prices for this PlayStation Now service? So thank you for your time. I am Paradox, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.